I'm here with an old friend and a Schuylkill Countyan, lifelong Schuylkill Countyan, I might add, and that would be Baron Boots Hetherington, and we have the opportunity every year to talk to Boots, and Boots is serving currently as the fair administrator for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Boots, it's always good to see you. How are you doing?
Very good, sir. It's good to see you again. I know you're always a regular at the farm show. You get down every year and visit us. As you say, I do visit the local fairs across Pennsylvania all summer. We have 109 agricultural fairs that take place, and this is sort of our state fair. People that compete in baking contests and livestock shows all summer long come to the farm show for sort of the grand championship. And you've always been a big supporter. I see you at the Schuylkill County Fair and also down in Berks County at the Kempton Community Fair. You've always been a big supporter, and we appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate what you do, Boots. It's funny, I was talking to Representative Dave Millard a bit earlier, and you know his history with fairs. There's nothing more near and dear to his heart than fairs. And I said, well, Representative, it's almost a fair. And he said, yeah, it almost is a fair. But Boots, it just amazes me when I come here, and we talked before, and this is the 99th farm show. My gosh, for something to survive that long, and it just continues to be a success year after year after year. What do you attribute that to? I mean, what is so good about this this farm show that people continue to come back?
Well, obviously it has changed. I remember my 50th. I was 11 years old for the 50th farm show. Came with my dad and my uncle Claude, and they wore white shirts and suits and ties, and they negotiated new equipment. Now, since that time, a lot fewer people are involved in farming, and the farm show has morphed more into a agricultural celebration. We expect 500,000 visitors this week. And it's a great way for us to show our non-farm friends and neighbors all about agriculture, all about livestock, all about farm equipment, all about all the things we do on our farms. And like I say, it has changed over the years because our society has changed. Right now, one farmer feeds 155 people himself. That's a far cry from what it was back in the 30s and 40s. So we've had to change, but change for the better. This is the largest agricultural exposition in the United States, under 24 acres here on the roof. There'll be over 6,000 animals compete here. There'll be more than 10,000 competitive exhibits, winemaking, Christmas trees, fruits, vegetables, nuts, needlepoint, baking contests. So there's also 300 commercial exhibitors here showing off their wares. And so it's like I say, it's the largest exposition in the United States.
But talk a little bit about when we talk to some people and we say farm show. You touched on it a little bit, but when we talk about agriculture and we talk about farming, what all exactly, we know that it takes in cows, but what all, a farmer, what do you need to do for a living to be a farmer?
Well, Pennsylvania is a very diverse agricultural state, unlike some of the states where it's mainly corn growers, and in the Midwest, mainly cotton growers down south. Your average Pennsylvania farm is very diverse. Like in our case, we raise a full line of grain crops. We're also in the small fruit business. We also raise produce. There's eggs, there's pork, there's beef, there's dairy. Pennsylvania is a very diverse operation. However, we rank high in maple production. We rank high in egg production. We rank high in pork and potatoes. So, like I say, unlike our neighbors who are monoculture or one crop, it's very diverse here. To be a farmer, you really have to be a bookkeeper, a chemist, an agronomist. You have to understand insects. So, very, very, very heavy science. The STEM, the science, technology, STEM, it's the engineering, maths, science the courses in college. So it's not your father's farming. It's very, very intense. Large operations. It's funny, I met Dr. Paz, who's the CEO of Hershey. He says, you farmers get it. You do more with less. Medicine does less but more, he says all the time. So, but and Pennsylvania, it's a great heritage. Our family, the farm that I live on right now, my kids are the 7th generation to live in the same farmhouse. So it was a share crop prior to 1842, and then when they bought the land, and there's 7 generations of Hetheringtons, including a Civil War officer in that family. So,
but do you think that people get it in terms of? I was always fascinated in conversations that I had with you about the risk that's involved in farming, about the weather in terms of how your crop can, you can make this investment and your crop can be destroyed. Talk a little bit about that.
It is. It's very, we are live and die by the weather, especially in the strawberry business. We have to worry about frost in the spring. We have to worry about too cold in the winter. If you get too much rain during strawberries, and that's just one crop. The same goes through with the other crops. However, we do have some tools available to us. The USDA does provide crop insurance that helps us to manage that risk. We also you can also go online and you can price some of your grain, pre-price it with the Chicago Board of Trade. So, your average farmer isn't just a worker. He's a bookkeeper. He's a risk manager. He's a scientist. So it takes a lot on the ball to be able to make it work. So,
what about a two-part question? My two-part question is, number one, and that would be what is your favorite thing? And you can't count strawberry milkshakes, by the way, because that's my favorite. But what is your favorite thing about the farm show? And is there anything new this year that maybe hasn't been here in other years?
Well, we have a brand new woodmobile. We're standing in this play area right now. It's interesting because Pennsylvania, believe it or not, is one of the world's best producers of hardwood. We have about $1.7 billion in annual exports in Pennsylvania, and 2/3 of that is hardwoods. It's by far our biggest economic driver as far as exports. And that's, I guess, Christmas trees, hardwoods. The average person doesn't think about agriculture with that being involved. We also have aquaculture, raising fish, raising domestic shrimp, stuff like that, which is all part of agriculture also too.
What about is there a favorite thing here? Is there something that really that you look forward to more than other things?
Oh, I guess it's the livestock shows. I mean, you see some really sharp animals down here. Yesterday afternoon, Hatfield paid $10,000 for the Grand Champions hogs. So that's a nice deal because there's some young person who's going to take that money and put it away for their college fund. Yesterday, the Scholarship Foundation gave out 24 scholarships, $3,500 each. And Penn State and Delaware Valley students who got the scholarship also were matched with money. So my son-in-law was a farm show kid, and he was trying to decide whether to go be a farmer or go to school to be a veterinarian. And between having a Grand Champion bull and getting a farm show scholarship, Justin decided to go to vet school. So,
Bootsy, what about one of the things I see them around all the time, PA preferred. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means?
That was something that was enacted in 2011. The corporate administration, working with Steve Bloom on the House Ag side and also with Senator Vogel, and that's our official branding program in Pennsylvania. What it is we do have some promotion money available. People who produce products in Pennsylvania or manufacture in Pennsylvania are allowed to use that brand and advertise. And I actually do a display competition at fairs. Schuylkill County, by the way, won second place. And we try to help folks understand local products and to match up the consumer with the local producer. Yingling ice cream, Yingling beer, all Gears Dairy's products are all Pennsylvania preferred, all stuff raised locally. And there's been a big push recently toward people. People are discovering where their food comes from. They ask questions about it. They want to support local farmers and local producers. So it's been a great program, and it's matched well with the current trends. And by the way, the General Assembly has provided some funding. We appreciate that to help the program. We have a website. If you want to look for peaches, you type in peaches on the website and your address, and it'll tell you the Kenny Starr's peaches, tell you the Ken Schellemer's peaches. So you'll be direct consumers to the PA preferred products. So
yeah, and I think it's important when we talk about our young people, when they buy their groceries, they go to the store, and this gives them the opportunity to come down and learn more about agriculture, be it dairy, be it potato farmer, be it a strawberry. It gives them a chance to learn that stuff doesn't appear on the shelf in the grocery store. That it's something. And the PA preferred situation, I really see a lot of that, and even when you go in restaurants now, you see some of that. What about the fairs, Boots? How many fairs did we do this year?
109. Well, it was 109 total. I made it to 95. I didn't quite get to them all. There's a week there in August where there's 30 fairs, and it's difficult to be 30 places in 7 days. But I do enjoy that assignment. The state does provide some financial support for our fairs. During our agricultural displays, you talk about 2,000 and 3,000 contests. Doesn't sound like a lot when you have a $10 first prize and a $5, but you start adding 2,000 and 3,000 and 4,000. So the state does provide 50% reimbursement for the premium awards, and we do appreciate that because what that does is it encourages people to bring out their best fruits, their best vegetables, their best cattle, their best swine to show. So we have 109 chances to show the public what agriculture is all about across Pennsylvania.
The fairs, when you visit a fair in Pennsylvania, they're so much different. I mean, when you go to the Schuylkill County Fair, it's so much different than than the, for example, the Berks County Fair or the Reading Fair.
Right.
It's they're little kind of fairs, and then you have the Allentown Fair. And is there a lot of difference between fairs?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. My youngest daughter last summer said, "Daddy, you've been to all these fairs now 3 times. What's your favorite fair?" I said, "Well, that's not a fair question, no pun intended, because they're all a little bit different." And our state president of the Fair Association, John Blaney, says we have 109 ways of doing the same thing differently. Some fairs have big carnival shows and a lot big entertainment. Some fairs do school bus demolition derbies. Carbon County Fair did a camper figure 8 demolition derby last year. Some have tractor pulls. Everybody has something different. So there are a lot of ways. They're similar as far as the competitions with the animal stuff, but each fair seems to have some niche that works for them. So it's a great family entertainment. You can cut your kid loose in the fairground. There's no worry about safety. It's a very, very easygoing, nice, safe place to be. With a few exceptions, most of the fairs don't have any alcohol on them. So it's like I said, it's a nice family place to have a good time. And some fairs have carnival rides, some don't. Like I said, everyone's a little bit different.
Dave Millard is always the guy that reminds me that the Bloomsburg Fair is the granddaddy of them all, huh?
It is. It's the biggest by far by attendance. Now, York Fair will argue. I guess York Fair is the oldest. They'll be celebrating their 250th anniversary next year, which means they were around before the Revolution. So, but once again, we have large fairs that are very intense and interesting with big name shows on the grandstands, but we also have a lot of smaller fairs that are just as much fun. So, and in some cases, like Lancaster County, they have 7 different fairs, and you'll see some of the same folks competing at different fairs all across the county. So,
well, Boots, Baron, Hetherington, it's always a pleasure to talk to you down here. I thank you for what you do in terms of fairs. I thank you for what you do for our county in terms of your operation, your strawberry operation, and I do look forward to those strawberries each and every year. And it's a pleasure to be here, and we certainly hope that people will come out and continue to support both our fairs as well as our farm show. And again, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, Boots.
I appreciate the kind words, Jerry, and I want to thank you and Representative Tobash and Representative Goodman for your support of the Fair Fund. Also, Senator Argel, Senator Schwank. It does mean a lot to us. It's not a lot of money it's put in, but you think about it, with fairs being agriculture and tourism, which are top 2 industries, it's a very nice small investment in our top 2 industries in Pennsylvania. The fairs do appreciate your support. We got back to fair funding full funding the last 2 years. It's been a big help. There was 4 or 5 fairs that I was afraid we were going to lose because of bankruptcy, but they're back on track and they're doing good shapes. And I really feel good about the fair situation this summer coming up. So,
thank you so much, Boots.
My pleasure, sir.